Okay, next question. This is from Chris B. Anthony, how do I go faster but at a lower heart rate? I'm averaging 160 to 170 for my rides and I can't seem to get this down at all. Oh, welcome to the club, Chris. This is me.
Oh, you're just going too hard. You're maybe training with the wrong group if you're going out with 160, 170. So without this turning into a real nerdy science corner, we've different heart rate bands, and in each of those different called zones, and in each of those different zones, we get a different physiological adaptation. We want to spend around 80% of our time in around zone 2, which is a much, much lower heart rate than he's talking about here. So the ways to do that, it's regular training, as unglamorous as that sounds. That's going to improve your cardiovascular efficiency, and it's going to allow your heart to pump more blood per beat, meaning it doesn't have to beat as frequently to get that amount of blood to your working muscles. You could try and focus more on deep sort of rhythmic breathing. That could bring your heart rate down as well and be a little bit more mindful of the effort. Hydration could also be an issue. Last one's just managing your effort on climbs. If you're going super, super hard up climbs, remember when we started, you used to think you had to like accelerate, like Sarah ride the first 50 meters of climb at 500 watts and then like be pushing our bike like 50 meters later.
You'd be pushing me on the bike up the rest of it. I think the heart rate thing is interesting because it's certainly something have a very high heart rate, Chris, and that's what I kind of focused on this winter, was going out and doing those really long, very slow rides. You have to do them on your own because you don't want to feel pressure to keep up with somebody, stay with someone's wheel, chat, even talking. So I would say,
if you can't talk, actually, that's a good one.
Yeah,
because if you can't talk,
you're in the wrong zone.
You're in the wrong zone. You're typically in zone 3 or above, and that's like a rate of perceived exertion of 7 or above. You want to be in a more 5 to 6 rate of perceived exertion where you can hold a normal conversation. So if you're going out with a friend and you can't hold that normal conversation with them, you're probably out of zone 2.
Yeah, if you're listening to Spotify and you can't sing along with the song, you're definitely in the wrong zone there. The other thing I will say as well, Chris, is like, you have to keep your ego in check here when you're training for heart rate, because you are going to be passed by the old dears in their heavy bikes with the basket on the front and maybe the dog in the basket.
Lad
rollerblading. Like, you are going to get passed out and you're going to think in your head, I could smoke this person, but you have to kind of hold it back. And the other observation I have from doing this low heart rate training for the last couple of months is it's very nice, because when you are sticking to 110, 120 beats per minute, you're not going through traffic going, oh, I got to get that green light. I got to get around that car. I got to get to the top of this hill really, really quickly. Your whole mindset kind of changes and it's a much more relaxing kind of time on the bike, very little aggro. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Dress warm, absolutely. Yeah, if you think, okay, I've got enough layers on, put on another couple of layers. But yeah, best of luck with that, Chris.